Good afternoon or morning, everybody, and welcome back to another weather forecast by Age from Weather Forecast. And in this video, we're going to be doing another update on the upcoming second wave of a major snowstorm, which will bring in heavy snow for millions from basically the border of North Dakota and Canada, which we're currently seeing snow there already as of now, and all the way up towards the northeast. So this is going to be our first really major widespread snowstorm. In my opinion, think it could very well become Winter Storm Atticus, but it has not really been named officially. Winter weather advisories have been issued, and warnings are likely to be issued in the coming hours for North Dakota and Minnesota, and as well future advisories to become issued further eastward. So watching out for snow for the big cities like possibly Chicago, Detroit, Milwaukee, the Twin Cities, all the way up to Cleveland, and as well Syracuse, New York, and even as far south as maybe Kentucky, and as well even Cincinnati. So we're watching out for some very widespread snow upcoming today, tomorrow, into Monday. Before we get to the video, I would recommend you guys subscribe to the channel, hit that like button and bell icon so we can go ahead and recommend this video towards many new viewers. But without further ado, let's get in the video. So here's the latest look now at the National Weather Service. So you can kind of tell there's more colors that's kind of really signify winter actually in the southeast, where we have a lot of freeze warnings from basically Mississippi all the way towards areas in Virginia. So we actually have a lot of freeze warnings as we are seeing this upcoming front, obviously from that first snowstorm around the 9th, and now it's going to bring in that front finally catching up to the southeast. So that southeast ridge we've been seeing all week is going to really start to go to the east. So we're going to start seeing some cooler weather across the southeast and Dixie Alley, but that's not the point of the video. The point of the video is up here towards the upper Midwest. We now currently have winter weather advisories. This low pressure has now officially moved into North Dakota, and we finally are seeing some freezing rain, sleet, and as well snow start to develop. It's well below freezing in these areas. Again, the cold front has very well caught up, and it's basically very deep cold there. However, we have a small warm front associated with this low pressure, but a very significant cold front right behind it. But there it is, that winter weather advisories for South Dakota, much of North Dakota, into Minnesota. But likely, as we get later today, for tomorrow, obviously you're going to start seeing some snow tomorrow across Wisconsin, Illinois, and Iowa, and even Michigan and Indiana. We most likely will have winter weather advisories all across this area by tomorrow, and then warnings probably by later today across these areas. And of course, we do have high wind warnings and high wind watches to the west, so we are still seeing some pretty strong winds, and we could very well see specifically across the upper North Plains some blizzard and whiteout conditions briefly, but it will obviously kind of minimize in severity once it gets towards the Midwest and as well Great Lakes. So let's now get a look here at the overall Weather Prediction Center. We're going to actually look at something we don't typically look at. We're going to be looking at the overall 24-hour probability, so we can get a little bit more kind of actual evidence of how much snow and where Earth's going to get the most amount of snow. So this is actually a probability of basically around just basically more than an inch, less or more equal to an inch. So obviously that's a very high probability. We do have, I believe that is a 95% chance across Minnesota, but you can kind of tell the overall probability for the highest snowfall is going to be kind of highlighted across this area. Even if we go towards more than 2 inches, it's still highlighted across this area. Even 4 inches, still highlighted across that area. And we go to 6 inches, still highlight, or 6 inches, it's a little bit more, little bit more obviously smaller. But let's actually look at 2 inches. So we do have still an 80% probability of having more than 2 inches across portions of the upper Midwest. Obviously, this is going to be towards 12. But as we get towards really 18Z later today, obviously this probability will start to increase. But right now, basically today, the highest probability of getting the heaviest snow is going to 6 inches is going to be obviously specifically across North Dakota and Minnesota. That is actually at a 5 to 10%. And then if we go continue on, the probability will decrease. So we're basically only looking at really 6 inches for today. And as we're watching out a chance for probability in the Great Lakes, there we do a probability, an increasing probability right there across Pennsylvania and in towards the Great Lakes. We do have a small chance for 6 inches or more. But let's go back to 2 inches. I just want to look at 2 inches the whole time. So as we get a little bit later today, the snow will start to make its way further eastward. So we have up to maybe a 50% for more than 2 inches by central Wisconsin. Still seeing that highest probability, 80 to 90% across portions of upper Minnesota. Even seeing some probability increasing across Michigan, getting up as high as 30%. And as we get towards tomorrow, yeah, this is going to be towards tomorrow, of course. Tomorrow, starting seeing the snow really going on across Wisconsin. As we go towards 0Z on the 15th, there you see that snow really increasing across portions of the Great Lakes. Like I said, going to be seeing some lake effect snow tomorrow, or not tomorrow, sorry, Monday. But as the snow continues, it's going to, by 0Z, it's going to obviously at this point make its way towards Michigan. Still having the highest probability across Wisconsin, specifically southern, central, and northwestern Wisconsin to get the most amount of snow out of the state. And then we get it by 6Z on Monday. Now it's going to all kind of center towards the Great Lakes, so still watching out for portions near Erie, Pennsylvania, portions towards Jamestown, New York, as well, having an increasing probability getting as high as 75% there, or 70% for portions of Michigan to get over 2 inches. And let's actually look at the over 4 inches probability. So actually having a really good probability for western Michigan from lake effect snow, looking at some really good snowfall totals, as well maybe even for portions of the like I said, the Great Lakes from lake effect snow. And as we get towards 12Z, obviously that probably will now increase up towards 20% across the lake effects or lake effect area. And then by 18Z, still having now an increasing probability of over nearly 30%. And by Tuesday, things start to minimize and it all moves out and towards portions of the Adirondacks. But let's now get a look at the HRRR, the 12Z update, since this one actually goes 48 hours out. So let's now look at what we're seeing currently. Like I said, currently we're going to start seeing that really freezing rain starting to really pick up across portions of Bismarck and central North Dakota, as they're basically right along that warm front. So the low pressure, or oops, that's a very awkward voice crack, but the low pressure are going to be right here at this point. The warm front is going to kind of be attached this way. So they're kind of really within the actual warm front, which is why we're seeing that freezing rain right there. And the areas to the very far northeast are actually still in that cooler area, really cold air. So it's still seeing that really heavy snow across portions there of towards Fargo, across now portions of is it Minute, North Dakota? I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. Later today, in the early evening, and start seeing that freezing rain start to really minimize as we get into the overnight hours. Obviously, the sun sets really early nowadays, so it's going to start getting below, or it's going to basically stay pretty below freezing, but it's going to get down to the 20s, basically across portions of Minnesota, North Dakota, as well as portions of South Dakota. Going to be seeing some really heavy snow. Especially there across portions of Detroit Lakes, Minnesota, across portions there of Aberdeen, South Dakota, getting some really heavy snow. And it's going to kind of be all towards the eastern. So it's kind of not a clipper because it's not really front-sided. So this is definitely not a clipper. I mean, it looks like a clipper, but it's not a clipper because it's not front-sided also. We do have some really sharp temperature gradient differences, but it's definitely not a clipper. But as we get to later today, now getting towards the overnight hours, going to start getting that snow arriving to portions of the Twin Cities there, as even far northern Iowa, and that's why I think we will get advisories by there later today. And let's now go a little bit later into the actual Ohio Valley, the Ohio Valley map, so we can get a better idea of what they have. So let's go back to the Ohio Valley. And here's a better look. So, of course, by the next 12 hours, getting the snow really not going towards portions of far southern Wisconsin, northeastern Iowa, getting some really heavy snow, though, all the way from still the North Dakota border across Fargo, Grand Forks. Still getting that really heavy snow across portions of Detroit Lakes, portions as well as far north as International Falls. And then some good snow for Eau Claire, good snow there for Rochester, Minnesota. And then as we go later on, this is going to become a little bit less widespread, but really heavy snow incoming as well. We're going to be seeing along this cold front, we're going to be seeing some really scattered, really heavy snow bands. It's going to be a lot of lake effect snow for western Michigan. So western Michigan, like Muskegon, Traverse City, basically that general area. And even Kalamazoo, you guys are going to get absolutely hammered by snow. And everywhere surrounding the west coast of Michigan, not going to get as much, but still really heavy snow for Green Bay, heavy snow incoming from Madison, Wisconsin later tomorrow, as well Rochester still getting the action. But look at the snow for western Michigan. I mean, they're going to get absolutely hammered. So if you live in Muskegon, Kalamazoo, let's see, across Traverse City there. I'm trying to think of other cities. Maybe into even Lansing, we can get some really good snow, but as well some more snow across Iowa, portions there of Madison, Milwaukee, and then still getting absolutely clobbered across western Michigan. I mean, they could easily get over a foot when areas of central Michigan, even Detroit, get less than maybe 5. But really heavy snow incoming there for Detroit. I mean, Detroit's going to get some really good snow, especially later on by Sunday night. And get some really heavy snow for southeastern, like Ann Arbor, Detroit, Lansing. Going to as well get some snow for Toledo, and possibly some really heavy snow for even Columbus, Akron, Ohio, uh, Pittsburgh possibly is still getting a good snow for southeastern Michigan, and we can very well see maybe some scattered snow showers for Columbus, West Virginia, even Kentucky, may get some scattered snow showers for Cincinnati. But the A has it really becoming rain concentrated pretty early on compared towards the NAM and the GFS. So I think the A is a little bit less aggressive towards the Ohio Valley approach. But here's a look at the overall sleet, freezing rain accumulation. Going to be seeing our most concentration for the next future hours across portions of Minnesota, especially the Dakota area, because we're still seeing that transitioning as we still are seeing daylight at that point. But once we get towards Minnesota, Iowa, and Wisconsin, it's going to be a lot more snow based. But we can get to a quarter inch, as high as a quarter inch across portions of North Dakota and Minnesota of freezing rain. That's definitely not fun whatsoever. Let's now look at sleet totals. Going to be seeing obviously a little bit higher totals. Going to get up to 1.5 inches there of sleet. That's going to be a little bit more concentrated towards portions of the border of, I believe that's going to be, I don't even know how to pronounce it. I know this one, this one's Ontario. I think this one might be Alberta, and then I think it's Saskatchewan, something like that. But yeah, we're going to be seeing our heaviest freezing rain concentration. We just looked at the HRR for the Ohio Valley, so now we're going to be looking at the NAM 3 kilometers. So, of course, you're going to be seeing a lot more snow-based, a little bit less sleet, but still seeing that really heavy snow, of course, overnight and towards Minnesota, Detroit Lakes, towards Eau Claire, towards, of course, Bismarck, or not Bismarck, sorry, Fargo, Grand Forks, and Aberdeen. And then later tonight, of course, that snow will start to arrive by portions of Green Bay, as well as some scattered snow showers early on across Columbus, portions there of Toledo, some good snow probably for some Fort Wayne, Evansville. Even Evansville could get some snow showers. Not Green Bay, sorry, Frankfort, Lexington. I mean, we could very well see some really good snow showers. I mean, look how early on these snow showers will begin. I mean, we're going to be seeing, even by later tonight, some scattered snow showers all across, because that precipitation is going to finally arrive. That front's going to kind of be really right here. So we're going to finally see some, with that really cold air in the overnight hours and some remaining precipitation and moisture, we're missing a lot of scattered snow showers that could actually bring some really good snow accumulations, especially these ones, if these verify. Obviously, these are very hard to forecast, and the HRR is not really showing that, but these are very hard to forecast. But overall, we have a pretty good idea. We could very well see some snow squalls across Ohio, across portions there of Kentucky. But there's a main system right there. So imagine we get maybe an inch of accumulation in some areas from these snow bands because how heavy they are, and then additional monster snowstorms. So this is actually, the NAM 3 kilometer is going to verify a lot more snow for a portion of the lower Corn Belt. So some really good snow across Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky. As well as some really good snow, of course, still for the upper Great Lakes, including Wisconsin, western Michigan specifically, but the NAM 3 kilometer has it kind of evenly spread out across Michigan, so almost the whole state of Michigan is going to get some snow at the same time, while the HRR is kind of having it either western or eastern is getting the snow. But it's going to be by the next 26 hours or so some really good snow for Ohio. So the NAM 3 kilometer and the GFS are a lot more in agreement than the HRR and every other model. So that's why I said the HRR isn't probably not going to be the one we're going to be mainly using. The NAM 3 kilometer has really good similarities between the GFS, that there's going to be some good snow accumulation as far south as the Ohio River down there near Kentucky. But really good snow tomorrow, late after or early afternoon into the evening for Ohio. Probably some really good snow for Columbus, good snow for Detroit, even good snow for Syracuse, good snow for Buffalo, Jamestown. And then eventually by basically getting closer towards Monday morning, going to be seeing some really good snow there by portions of even central Pennsylvania across maybe State College. Get some good snow for Williamsport, some good snow as well towards Syracuse, Ithaca, uh, Pittsburgh, of course, and then some remaining good snow showers for Ann Arbor, Lansing. Overall, just remaining moisture. So we're going to be seeing a lot of overall beginning showers. I mean, let's go look at the HBR. So the HBR, let's compare this. I mean, like I said, there's not going to be really much going on before the main storm here. But there comes the HFR. The HFR is going to be a lot further northwards, kind of just taking it like that, and then becoming all kind of rain-based early on, while the NAM and the GFS have not become really rain-based, but actually still bringing that really heavy snow. But here's the main concentration across North Dakota, going to get up to nearly half a foot of snow. But look at the lake effect snow we're going to be watching out for mainly western Michigan and Lake Erie. We're going to be possibly looking at up to 2 feet of snow according to the NAM per kilometer across portions there of Jamestown, New York, south of Buffalo, towards Erie, Pennsylvania, even outside Cleveland. We're seeing some really good snow. But here's the overall main area to watch out for the Midwest. Going to be some kind of a large band and agreement. And models are agreeing with this. If you look at the NAM, they're kind of agreeing. If you look at the GFS, they're kind of agreeing as well. So that they have an agreement. But the overall how far south it goes is not an agreement. So, for example, let's draw the south border of the HRR. That's kind of the border. But look at the NAM. The GFS is a lot further south than what the HFR is. So, I mean, I'm going to have to agree with the GFS and the NAM on this one. But they're also all agreeing there on the heavy snow in lake effect from western Michigan and as well in Lake Erie. So, they're kind of all agreeing on that. So, we have some pretty good agreements. But there's a really drastic difference in the southern border of where it stops. But looking at some snow, of course, of nearly up to 3 to 5 inches from basically the western Lake Michigan from Milwaukee, Madison, all the way, of course, up towards this, between these two black lines. This is going to be the area to watch out for some good, maybe 3 to 5 inches of snow, maybe even 6 inches. And then I'm going to be seeing at that point after that's going to be all over the place. You could very well see areas of an inch and some areas neighboring up to 5 inches. But we're really watching out for Traverse City, Muskegon, going to get some really good snow from lake effect. Could very well get over a foot. Going to be seeing a lot less concentration to the north, though, because it's going to kind of be a little bit more southern based. And not going to be seeing too much snow up here, and they all agree on that. But get maybe 3 inches there for the Twin Cities, possibly less than nothing for Columbus. I mean, like I said, they have nothing at all for Indianapolis, nothing at all for Lexington, nothing at all for Cincinnati, even nothing at all for Fort Wayne, South Bend, nothing at all really for as well Toledo. And then they have it going absolutely crazy once you get to the Lake Erie area. But let's look at the NAM per kilometer. This one's a lot more reasonable. Getting as well that big blob right here across the Ohio Valley. I think this is actually reasonable. Getting up to nearly 2 to 4 inches across Columbus. And then having it stretching up towards the northeast. Getting up to, of course, nearly a foot for lake effect snow. And get a lot more snow for Indianapolis. Maybe an inch or so. Maybe 2 inches for Fort Wayne. Probably maybe up to 2 inches for Cincinnati, and then you have that long crest of the Appalachian Mountains, possibly getting up to nearly 2 to 3 inches there for Pittsburgh, probably a trace or so, maybe scattered 4 inches across State College, and still that concentration. Of course, this is all not going to change, so you'll be seeing actually some more snow for probably Madison, Wisconsin Dells, and Milwaukee, then Green Bay, and Rhinelander, as well. Going to be seeing some more snow for the Twin Cities and Duluth, which doesn't really happen too much, or it does, but you know what I mean. At this time of the year, it doesn't really. But here's the GFS as well. This is the latest 12 of the update, having some good concentration across the lake effect snow area. But look at that, 5 inches near Columbus, getting up to nearly 3 inches to 4 inches there near Auburn, Indiana, and as well Notre Dame. Getting some good snow to nearly 3 inches outside Kentucky border. I mean, there's a lot of weird differences, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll have more updates later tomorrow.